Hey, so I've been doing some research on where to find and where to meet successful people. Successful, influential, or wealthy people. So that's what this video is for. If you're looking to meet these people, either to befriend them, connect with them, surround yourself with these people so that you can better your own life and be around like-minded people, this video is for you. Now let's start it off with a quick disclaimer. I think one thing I've learned is that you have to provide value. So I've done videos on how to talk and actually get successful people and people in general to like you. But there's a ton of content everywhere online about this. And quite frankly, uh, obviously there's more details to it, but the general principle is simply don't be an annoying leech that's taking value. Don't be someone who's someone who's just not fun to hang around, who's really not giving any value and just constantly taking, constantly trying to hang out there, and not someone pleasant to be around, basically. So, just to give you a quick example of that, let's just assume this guy who comes in and he's that networker. He's that guy who's always networking, and I say that with quotes because it's not really networking, but it kind of is. And he's always going to networking meetings, and he really just is there to get something out of people, and you can sense it, kind of like the sleazy type of salespeople when he meets everyone, and you just don't feel comfortable around him because he's not really ever giving value or doing anything. He's not there to have a good time or be friendly or anything, and you can sense it immediately. He'll maybe give you like two sentences and then he's expecting stuff from you, asking for details, asking if you can meet with him. So you don't ever want to be a leech like that. Now, again, I'm going to point you to other videos and content where that's explained in depth. This video is going to now be on where to find these people and how to meet them. So this always involves thinking outside of the box. I think sometimes it involves doing what other people are not doing. Does this mean that some of this advice could get outdated? Possibly. But arguably not so much, because guess what? Most people will never even consider doing this. So that's one thing. And then a lot of the things I've said, they've probably been here since the dawn of time, or at least they've been here for a while, and yet people don't realize to go to these things, or for whatever reason they're too lazy to if they hear the advice. So one of the first things is nonprofit, charity, or volunteering events or organizations. Now this exemplifies thinking outside of the box and on a higher level. Why go to these things? I put myself in the mind and perspective of someone who is very successful. And one thing you find with these people, not always, but often, is that because they're wealthy and they've done a lot of good and they're good people, that's where you want to head, because they're oftentimes, not always, but often they will be at charity functions or big nonprofit events where they're donating a lot to charity, because they actually care about making the world a better place, and they've amassed a lot of money themselves. So whether it's volunteering at these organizations or attending yourself somehow, that's one way of doing it. And let me just exemplify the fact that you don't want to be that sleazy guy who's going there just to meet people. So one way that you can combine these two is look for volunteering organizations and things that you are already very passionate about. Maybe it's a animal shelter, maybe it's something else. That brings us to the second thing that I think would be of great use to you, which is look to events that you are passionate about that have some element of volunteering or something else, that has a organization behind it that brings high level people in. So for instance, Tim Ferriss, who wrote the 4 Hour Work Week, one thing that he did was, back when he was a nobody and he didn't have this, best-selling book, he would volunteer every week at a entrepreneur nonprofit organization, and it brought together a lot of budding new startup business people, and he would constantly just volunteer there. And after giving value for many, many weeks, a opportunity sprang up, and because he had done so much, he was offered that chance to be one of the facilitators for a interview with some very successful business owners. So by doing that, he was able to meet and connect with successful people. So keep all those things in mind, and I think it is important to learn that it's a interesting level of understanding to not be that annoying, leechy person. And some people say, well, how do I give value? I don't have much to give. As you can tell by Tim Ferriss's situation or a number of other examples, you can provide value in a number of ways rather than just spending money. Tim Ferriss did it with his time and energy volunteering. Otherwise, you can do it in other ways. Let's say you meet this person or you email someone. You can give them incredible advice, give them incredible data or information. And I say advice lightly because most of the time they don't want advice from someone who's not as successful as them. That's kind of arrogant. But advice in the sense of, hey, I thought this would be incredibly useful to you, and it actually is, whether it's a resource, a website, an article, or a database. And it's one of those things that I think it's a bit difficult because you may think it's really great, but in reality it's just annoying or bland. So it's an interesting thing, and I think it's worth working on and improving. It's all about social skills, and I think generally speaking though, it's all about being a great person and helping that person out and actually being there and not having that weight of expectation that you want something from them. So hopefully it helped. Of course, it's not a complete guide. I'm sure there's other stuff that could help you even more. But that's it for this video, and thanks so much for watching. Of course, if you're new to this channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button below this video. We do videos every Thursday. Thanks for watching.